Hello, I'm Holly Mitchell, Chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, and I'm proud to welcome you to South LA, the heart of the 2nd District. South LA's story is a story of hope, justice, community, and love. It's also a story that's filled with promise, and it's far from being over. Martin Luther King Community Healthcare is helping to write the next chapter for a thriving South LA. I watched this state-of-the-art hospital open in 2015, and I look forward to sharing with you glimpses into MLK Community Healthcare and the surrounding neighborhood gyms and the residents that make South LA so very special. In this next hour, you'll see why this is where health, culture, and community come together. So please enjoy the Dream Show and your visit to my district. From Larchmont to Carson, from Willowbrook to Manhattan Beach, it's sure to be memorable.
Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. These words from Dr. King ground the vision for a new kind of justice. And like all of Dr. King's work, they call us into action. They call us into community. My name is Deshaun Terry. Grew up in South Los Angeles, 54th and Crenshaw, and proud of it. On the weekend of Dr. King's birthday, I stand in South LA, my feet firmly planted on a building that bears his name. Its doors open with a single intention: compassionate care for all. This is MLK Community Healthcare, and this is The Dream Show. Dr. King's beloved community is all around us. On the streets, in churches and schools, in barbershops, in backyards. It's here at MLKCH, where quality healthcare is a promise made and fulfilled for uncles, neighbors, wives, everyone in South LA. All are welcome. What defines South LA? Strength and resiliency. A tough spirit, a culture rich in family and community, a place that takes its music as seriously as it takes its faith. Its food and art, just another way to invite people to join in. Home to people with unmistakable and unshakable soul. I want to share South LA you might not know. I want to delight and move you. Join me in celebrating the power of this community through the stories of people who make South LA a home for justice and hope and health.
Right where must we be? Outside!
The pandemic sparked a cycling movement in South LA and a new business. It started with a South LA athlete, Kelly Hart. Home from college and suddenly housebound, Kelly started a bike club that quickly grew into 150 riders who came together every week to burn miles and urge each other on. In the process, Kelly fulfilled a dream of owning her own business. Kelly is determined to inspire the community to be active and healthier by riding their bikes together. She hosts one-of-a-kind group ride experiences that aim to do this. Fun, fitness, friendship. That's what Ride With Us is all about.
I've always wanted to be a business owner. I went to college as an accounting major. I graduated with a business management degree. It's a very rewarding feeling, opening up my gates, being on Slauson. My name is Kelly Hart. I am the owner and president of Ride With Us LA. I started Ride With Us LA during the pandemic. I started riding with my friends, and 5 friends turned into 6 friends to 15 friends. Once we started riding, more people wanted to find bikes, they didn't have them. Cycling probably tripled in interest during the pandemic. You couldn't find a bike anywhere. I knew where to get them and I started selling them. And the reception and the love that I got from this community it blew me away. The people around, they came out, they bought bikes from me. Before I opened the store, I was doing pop-up shops out of a U-Haul. People were constantly saying, do you have a store? I want to come to a store. Being from LA, I would travel this street all day and saw this lot. It was just busted and disgusted, for lack of better words. But I saw the potential. It means so much to me to be able to bring something so positive and full of life back here on Slauson. My team, they're amazing. I always say I wouldn't have been able to do this without them. I love my crew, man. They hold me up. It's been amazing. It's blown me away, and I never imagined that it would grow into something like this.
Kelly is like the heart of it, the rock. When she got this going during COVID and everybody was in the house, worried and all, it was like, hey, we could bring our bikes out, which is cool. Ever since then, I've never stopped cranking.
The store is the hard part, but the rides are so much fun. Yo, 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 friends! Happy Thursday! Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We're heading down to the district by GS, one of our favorites. The more the merrier. If I see 40 bikes, it's great. But when I see 140, it's like, yes, let's go.
I'm feeling good today. Oh, I'm feeling good today. Okay.
It's all inclusive of everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a professional cyclist or just a beginner. The goal of us is just to stay together. We want to stay healthy. Fun, fitness, and friendship. That's the core of it. That's what it's all about.
Kelly's doing something good for community. We kind of know the cliche of Los Angeles, of inner city, of gangs and drugs and violence, but then you don't see this part of it, that now you can see that people really do care about each other. People do care about their health, and they care about the next person's health. And she's giving people bikes just to come ride and continue to build their community together.
There's really so much intelligence, there's so much talent, there's so much right here in South Central, and I believe that it's one of the country's best hidden gems, and I'm really proud to be from here. Yo, yo, y'all, come on, say cheese with me real quick. Ride what? Ride what? We be outside. We be outside.
Rhiannon Giddens has long lifted up forgotten Black voices in American music. Her research and performance of slave songs bring us stories powerful today. Her interpretation of wide-ranging music from other cultures shows us just how close we all are. She stands on the shoulders of a tradition of musicians from Pete Seeger to Joan Baez, calling us to justice in our contemporary communities. As a composer, Rhiannon creates exciting new work. Here's one of her stunning originals, performed alongside her partner, Francesco Teresi, the tragic and defiant anthem, At the Purchaser's Option.
My name is Rhiannon Giddens. This is Francesco Teresi, and we're going to be performing a song that I wrote. My work in American music has been really focusing on the African-American contributions to that, and especially the ones that haven't been known, which is why I've been talking about the banjo, since that's an African-American invention. But I've also been digging into the history that surrounds the time of this music, this banjo, which is a replica of a banjo from 1855, what was happening around that time. It is a very difficult, dark time for African Americans. And so I studied, as I was digging into the history, I found these relics of this time, right, when slavery was common, right? It was just a thing that people did. And so I came across these advertisements. And there were advertisements for people. Because back during this time, people were as good as cash. Certain kinds of people were as good as cash, I should say. And I found this particular advertisement. It was in the paper, and it was for a young woman for sale. a young woman for sale, right? And the end of the ad is what really got me. I mean, that was horrible enough. But the end of the ad said that she has with her a 9-month-old baby who is at the purchaser's option. And those words just stayed with me. You know, the idea that not only is this woman's life like unimaginable, but that her own child, she has no control over her own child. She has no control over any part of her life. And so as I started thinking about her, this young woman in this ad, I started thinking, how does she get up in the morning, right? Having no control over any part of her life. How does she not only get up in the morning, but continue on through the day? And it just made me think of so much history of, you know, African Americans within this country, but also people all over the world. This is still happening, right? There's still people being captured against their will and held against their will. How do they find any kind of joy? How do they find any kind of will to keep going? And so I just thought about that and the resilience that it takes to make it through, the resilience that it takes to hold part of yourself, that no one can take that away from you, right? No one can take that innermost piece of you, no matter what they do to you. And when you think about MLK community healthcare, that's the word that comes to mind, right? Resilience. It's like, they told us we couldn't do this. Well, we did it. They told us we couldn't, you know? And that resilience is what makes it happen. And everybody has that. It's just being aware of it. And then the most important thing is being proud of it. Is going, you know what happened to me is not me, right? What happened to me, what people call me, I'm not taking that in, you know? This is me, and they can't have it. So this is a song about that. It's called At the Purchaser's Option. I've got a babe, but shall I keep him? 'Twill come the day when I'll be weeping. But how can I love him any less? This little babe upon my breast. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, take my blood, but not my soul. I've got a body dark and strong. I was young, but not for long. You took me to bed, a little girl. Left me in a woman's world. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, take my blood, but not my soul. I work the line every minute overtime. Fingers nimble, fingers quick. My fingers bleed to make you rich. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, take take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul.
This is my family. I come here and it's so easy. It's like I'm called Mom. I'm called a lot of times Mama Shine or Mama Smith Thomas because I love you all and I feel the love here. And I feel this of importance to share it. And so it's to me, when I look at someone, I see them eye to eye, I want to make sure I'm not passing by and I don't let a moment go to let you know how important you are, that I recognize you, that, because you never know what's going on in someone's day. It helps just to know that, you know, you count, because you do.
For those of you watching at home, I hope you'll join us by making a gift in support of quality healthcare for South LA. Text DREAM to 424-414-1304 or hold your camera over the QR code on the screen. Your support helps us improve the health of an entire community. A self-taught multimedia artist, Aziz Dieng has roots that are long and deep in South LA. He designed and developed a printing press to produce vibrant and colorful original works, rich in symbolism. Aziz's art captures the spirit of the universal human experience. His vibrant gallery space of curated exhibits, cultural events, and performances inspire, nurture, and celebrate community across generations.
My name is Aziz Dieng, and I am an artist in Leimert Park.
That's the world stage that was created by Billy Higgins, the drummer. That's community builds, a Jamaican restaurant, a Kibambu, been here for a minute. Now I think the prize of the whole neighborhood, the Poland Center. They provide a dance class, music, things like that.
It's basically a tapestry of people who create Leimert Park.
Yeah, I found him right here. He been in Leimert Park longer than anyone, and he have 2 cars. And his name is Seeker. He's a master jeweler. That's his spot right here.
30 years.
30 years.
So Aziz, to me, he's an artist, he's a mentor, a community activist in a different type of way. By putting a fine arts institution where people think that it cannot exist. In this historical neighborhood, everything that this gallery represents we needed it, especially during the pandemic.
The most famous artist we have here is Charles Bibbs. I have a young artist, Steven. I think he's the most talented artist, and he's 24. And this is his first time ever show his work in this gallery.
This is the paper you're going to be printing?
I've been doing the printmaking for the last, 25 years plus.
Make sure it's not just the oil before you put it on the plate.
Basically, what I am teaching here, I'm teaching you a technique. I don't teach creativity, though. That you have to come up with it.
The idea in this process is each one of them is an original. You're not trying to do anything you can repeat. This is just a rolling pen, an expensive rolling pen. I used to use Any, workers outside those trucks with the things, I see them, I just come up with the plywood. I say, can you roll over it? They say, yeah, this guy is crazy. I am from Senegal. I've been here for the last 35 years. I am part of the community. Besides maybe 3 people in the neighborhood, I've been here longer than anybody else. I think it's important to be rooted somewhere. You have to have a foundation. This is my neighborhood.
You'd be surprised about how many people didn't know that they were artists or didn't know that they had an interest. But walking past that window, something triggered it. And guess what? They signed up for classes.
Then those people who take the class can go out there and make some money. The only way I can leave a legacy will be to teach this, what I know, to everybody else.
I think he's setting a precedence for all the other creatives in the community that we can both create and then create opportunities too. You can do those things, you know what I mean? You can do those at the same time. If we don't have people like Aziz, then it stops. Then the legacy of Leimert Park stops, and the legacy of Black LA stops with them, and it can't be that. Our culture is dependent on paying it forward, and he's definitely the guy that shows us how to do it in real time every single day.
We've all heard about social determinants of health, and this community is a prime example of that. We are a safety net for this community. We really just will allow the community to flourish and give them the tools they need to be successful, to thrive in their lives. And I think that is something special for us to be able to do that for a community.
Homelessness has grown to epidemic proportions in California. The highest count of unhoused people is in the communities served by MLKCH, all with little to no medical care available to them. The MLKCH Street Medicine Program, sponsored by HealthNet, provides direct care to patients where they are, on the streets and under bridges, in the hardest to reach places. Street medicine addresses many health concerns before they intensify. The program offers care and, most importantly, dignity and hope.
There's tens of thousands of homeless folks within LA County, and a growing number are here within South LA. If you are already unhoused, you don't have transportation typically, you don't have access to a cell phone or internet. It's not easy to come into a hospital, even if you're living within a mile of the hospital.
So the average lifespan for the homeless patient is about 45 years old. And that's an indication of just how rough it is living out on streets.
This community has been denied quality health care for decades now, and our street medicine program is taking care beyond the hospital walls to where people can access it in their space.
A lot of the patients that we see come to the hospital when it's too late. So the idea of street medicine is let's help them when they need help, not when it's too late.
Healthcare currently sort of is designed for people to seek out the healthcare. You have to go to the clinics, go to the doctor, go to the hospital, emergency department. Whereas some folks don't have the ability to do that. This is very innovative, and it was a creative way to bring healthcare to them.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Cynthia, community health worker. How long have you had your...
It's been about 6 months now.
So let me see what resources I can get for you, at least so we can have it checked out and make sure it doesn't worsen.
We ultimately want to be able to provide ongoing continuous care to patients. And to really do that, particularly for people on the streets who are extremely vulnerable, is to develop trust. And to get to that trust, you have to develop a relationship.
It's a sense of value that the patients on the street medicine team are feeling is because somebody wants to give them attention and wants to give them value again. So when you've been shunned by the community and the environment that you've literally grown up your whole life in, having somebody give you attention, and when it comes to healthcare, it's valuable. So by bringing quality care to them, our aim is not to just lengthen their life, but to bring quality to their life.
This is the most vulnerable of the vulnerable in our community. And if we believe that healthcare is a human right, and we do, then this is a program that we have to put in place. And we intend to do so to address those needs.
MLK Community Healthcare mission has not been about just healing bodies, but about health equity for a community who has not had it. And street medicine just fits in with that mission.
A South LA daughter worked with her father to transform his corner store into a healthy food and community space. This family-owned business, Hank's Mini Market, offers customers a combination of art and food in an effort to inspire and gather the community. Standing on her father's shoulders, owner Kelly Jackson has created a community landmark. This story is a recipe for good health.
Kelly Jackson, and I'm the second generation owner of Hank's Mini Market. I wanted to create a peaceful place for people to shop, and I wanted it to be bright and open and airy. I wanted our corner to pop. I wanted it to be inviting. I wanted us to have a space that looked like it was on the west side here in South Central. I wanted to push this conversation of that our community, no matter what neighborhood you lived in, that you deserve a better shopping experience, that you deserve to have plenty of different choices and options towards the kinds of products and food and produce that you have at your corner store. In our community, sometimes we don't have enough of those kinds of spaces, and so I really wanted to show up in that way. I'm just super proud of my dad. In 1997, deciding that he wanted to own his own business within our community. Most people were disinvesting from the community, and I'm really proud of my dad for investing and coming in and saying that he wanted to be proud to be of ownership of his business and really help clean up this corner. I could have went anywhere else and started my career in arts or business, but all my studies, all the work and research that I did over the years always circled back to Hank's. And what I realized is that I had this opportunity and this gift in front of me, and that my true impact, my true purpose is to create and innovate here at Hank's.
The impact this woman in this store has had on my life. 9 months ago, I pushed a shopping cart. Today, I'm getting qualified to buy a home.
There's beautiful work being done here at Hank's, and just like Charles' story, it's Hank's story. It's the story of South Central Los Angeles. We have tough times, we have ups and downs, but that doesn't mean that we need to give up. We should keep going, and we should continue to encourage each other.
So today we're gonna make a healthy meal together with some really simple ingredients, a whole bunch of stuff that I got right here. And it's a really simple and easy and quick meal that we can make and share with our family and feel really good about it when we have it.
I was very adamant about having a community space within the shopping experience because there's a lack of community spaces. And it was very important for me to use our space as a part of the solution.
Hank's is an example of a Black-owned business in our community that thrives as a business and that does good for the community.
Kelly is definitely one of the community leaders. You know, she is a trailblazer, to say the least. I think that a lot of the other shop owners, or at least I hope, will follow her lead and put more investment in the community.
Her service to this community is an example to others in the community. The fact that she is sewing healthy food, education courses, access to art, is really continuing her father's vision of supporting the place that he loved and the people who he loved.
Whenever I come in here, Kelly gives me a hug. I say hi.
Carter, she's 7 now and she's grown up in the space. But what I love about Carter in the space too, like she sees this as her own space. At 7, she's already thinks that she can run her own store. She has the opportunity to come behind the counter and ring up her parents. She can recognize at a young age that if she wants to own her own business, that her dreams can come true. This is my purpose, to be creative and innovative and push the conversation of what a corner store can be. This is my canvas, and I'm able to do those things. I just enjoy it.
Raised on the streets of South LA, Reverend Rudy Rubio grew into a community faith leader and spiritual coordinator for MLKCH. Reverend Rudy's work shows us how faith can be a powerful healer and reminds us of the role faith has played in our history of justice. Join Rev Rudy as he moves from patient bedside to community action.
After rounds, I'm gonna go talk to him and figure out what his threshold is for intubation.
You wanna go in there? Let's go. I need an N95 and a shield, please. Amanda, what's his first name? Buenos dias. So you know the doctor, right? I'm the pastor. This is the doctor. We just want to talk to you real quick.
You're getting close to where I would say, hey, we need to intubate you.
I'm just here for support. I want to be able to talk with you, to pray with you, if you'll let me, to give you peace, because I know there can be a lot of anxiety right now. The doctor's giving you a lot of information. It can seem like a really big decision. If you could see me, you could see that it doesn't look like I'm your typical pastor, right, or chaplain. I grew up on these streets, rough, and I was a part of the problem here for many years. I think how or why I became a problem with that, because I was some kid who was neglected. I was a latchkey kid. Parents were always working. When the local street gang came along and they embraced me, they became a family to me, and being accepted and belonging to something was a great feeling. Unfortunately, there were wrong motives that drove those relationships, but that's pretty much what it was, and I fed off of that. I think that my past helps me be empathetic to our community and our patients, and as well as them being able to relate to me and know that I am truly one of them. I've been through it. I'm on the other side. Not that I've made it anywhere, but that there's hope, that there's hope. And I think that has helped bring down many a wall with patients when they won't talk to anybody else, but they'll talk to me. I'm gonna stay with him and pray. Is that okay? Will you let me pray with you after he goes? Good. Cool. Thank you, Dr. Redondo. I try to be a bridge between this hospital and the community itself, because it's where I live, love, and serve both the hospital, our staff, our patients, as well as the community. Hey, good morning, familia. How are we doing this morning? I know we would all rather be watching cartoons and eating cereal at home, but we're grateful that you chose to get up early this morning to come out and support the work that we're trying to do here in the community.
It's inspiring to see someone like Reverend Rubio, who has his own struggles, but he's now serving as a role model, as an example, and as an inspiration to all of us in terms of, hey, we're gonna go through some tough times, but there's still an opportunity for us to do good in the world and to help others, regardless of what you may have gone through in the past. It's never too late to turn it around.
I hope that I can be that person that I never had to show these kids that there's another way. We don't have to make the same mistakes that people that we love dearly, friends or family, have made, that there's always another option.
He came with a background, from the streets, He said it before that maybe he was a knucklehead, you know what I mean? It all came full circle when, I believe he decided to change his life, and give back to the community. Instead of being someone who was known for taking, he's became a giver, and that's what this is about.
I was a guy doing graffiti on the walls. I was actually with the paintbrush, and one of the guys from the city said, "Are you getting flashbacks?" I was like, well, it was actually a spray can, So to be able to leave a colorful stamp mark with, welcome to success, and to impulse the kids and to spur them on, is pretty awesome. So yeah, I never thought I'd be doing this at all. Never thought I'd be a pastor, or community activist, or whatever you want to call it, ever. So the Combs family that lives here and the Herman family that lives right next door many years ago started hosting these dinners on Friday nights. I mean, we're in the middle of Compton to help get these kids off the street, offer them a meal, get them inside a positive environment, to spiritually feed them, nourish them, both physically and spiritually.
Welcome. Obviously, we got Pastor Rudy in the house. He's bringing the message tonight. Give a clap. Everyone give a clap.
It's been amazing to see them grow up from teenagers now into young adults, that they're no longer the students that we're pouring into, now they're pouring into younger kids. And to watch that transition has been awesome, and to be a part of it is even more amazing. There's people that would question me like, why? Like, why would you stay here? Why don't you go somewhere else? And they're difficult conversations that my wife and I have definitely had, like, is this where you want to raise our children? You know, do you want your kids to be around the same stuff that you saw when you were growing up? And I think that challenged me to actually want to make an even bigger change, to make sure that the generations after us would have a better chance than we did. This is exactly where we need to be to help bring about that change.
Rudy is very important to us. He helps connect people like of all races and demographics. People in IC are very sick. You know, a lot of times they're close to death, and he really helps to bring us all together and helps the families cope. He is so humble, knowledgeable, a big heart, and he's caring. I don't know what we would have done without him. I'm just so grateful that he's here.
I have a habit of asking our staff, hey, how you doing? And you know, all of our natural reactions say, I'm good. And then I'll pause for a second, I'll say, seriously, how are you? You know? And then sometimes, or often, I'll get the real answer, and then the story, and then try to comfort them and encourage them as well.
I have like a vivid memory of like a very difficult day. He always comes into rounds and like gives us fist bumps. How are you doing? Especially when we're doing rounds and presenting, and it's like, this patient's not doing bad. Like, this patient is doing bad. The family's not okay. This patient's doing bad. The family's not okay. When you constantly hear that bad news, he kind of, again, picks up on that, and he's like, how are you doing? How are you doing okay? So definitely moments that I was like, Rudy, I just need a hug.
I stand upon the Protestant Reformation, right? That happened with a guy by the name of Martin Luther, who Martin Luther King Jr. was named after, who had a phrase in Latin said, Semper Reformanda, reforming and always reforming. How can we continue to bring about much needed change in our community? And I truly believe that faith is at the heart of it. And I want to help people channel to what that faith is.
The vitally prolific artist Rhiannon illuminates another song for us. The soul-stirring ballad, I Shall Not Be Moved, is a rendition of a civil rights era classic that reminds us of music's eternal power.
We're going to be performing a song for you that I'm sure most of you already know. It's a pretty popular song, and it was, in fact, really well-known and well-sung during the civil rights movement of the 1960s. But I learned it in a kind of a special circumstance. When I was first starting out in this music, fiddle, banjo, American roots music, I had the opportunity to study with a really important figure, kind of a magical person. His name was Joe Thompson. He was 86 years old, and he was the last living link to a once vast, thriving, and very, very important Black string band tradition. And I got the opportunity to sit at his feet and study his music, play with him, listen to his stories. He was kind of my musical grandfather. And the thing about Joe is that he wasn't just a fiddle player. He was a community musician at a time when that meant a whole lot. His family band, the Thompson family band, they played for the Black square dances. They played for the white square dances. They played for the community that they lived in. And that's something that it's hard for us to understand now because we're so separated, and the idea of being a professional musician and sort of all this kind of stuff. And for Joe, it was just what he did. He was of service to his community, and I think each of us has to find the way that we can be of service to our community, because really there's nothing else beyond that. That's all we have is each other. You know, people talk about all these kinds of things when we think about what's happening in the future, but without community, none of that can happen. So when I sing this song, I think about Joe, and I think about the gift that he gave me and the other Carolina Chocolate Drops, the band that formed around his music. I think about the idea of purpose, service, and community when I sing this song.
Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. Climbing Jacob's ladder, I shall not be moved. Climbing Jacob's ladder, I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, shall not be moved. On my way to heaven, I shall not be moved. On my way to heaven, I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. On my way to justice, I shall not be moved. On my way to justice, I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. On my way to freedom, I shall not be moved. On my way to freedom, I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I
I hope this has been one unforgettable hour as we celebrated South LA and all the cultures and generations that call this place home. Join us here in MLK Community Healthcare. Be a part of our family, our story of hope and healing. May health and resilience carry us all forward.
We gotta stick together, together, together. When we stick together, there ain't nothing we can't do. We gotta love each other, each other, each other. When we love each other, there ain't nothing we can't do. Sister and brother, when we love each other, there ain't nothing